social media. We're actively, offering walk-ons. We recruit walk-ons just like we recruit scholarship guys. Those guys. This place is known for their walk-on program. That's what our goal is, to get this roster beef back up and have those guys very much so a part of this operation, especially linemen. Get them in and churn them out. They become a real player for you sooner than later.
When you're looking at JUCOs, do you really only want guys that can be here in January, or are you open to a guy that can be
It's a case by case. Ideally, in an ideal world, we get them in January, to get that spring ball under our belt and get those guys coached up, get those practices in that they need, to get acquainted with the offense, the winter conditioning, all the things that you have an opportunity to get in all season. But if they don't make it out of JUCO until May, then that's when you have to take them.
Gerald talked about he said it had been too long since he wasn't on the penalty sheet. Do you go through early in the week? Do you go through that, or was he just saying that? Is there actually a sheet that shows which guys get penalties over the course of a game?
Yeah, absolutely. Some of our problem within our 6-game skid is to start the season was that we would get penalties that were drive-killing penalties, pre-snap penalties, all the things that, make it hard. It's hard enough to get 10 yards, right? So now you put yourself behind the 8 ball when you got a 10 or 15, 5 or 10 yard penalty, Gerald, in the Purdue game, I don't really know how to coach him more out of that penalty. That's a 15-yard penalty, though.
Yeah.
It's a big play for us. But we're constantly talking about those things because that's hidden yardage. It's hidden yardage, and you look up and you have a certain amount of yards in a game, and you take away and you clean up some of the things that you can clean up, that you can control, like penalties, where your hands are, maybe a late hit or something like that. Then our offense is productive enough to score points. But when you have those things that stagnate drives or, that kill drives, then, you have a whole bunch of yards with no points. And that's been our deal, is that we've had a lot of yards, but they haven't resulted in points. And we got to put points on the board. So this past game was a great reflection of play a clean game. Look what happens.
Yeah. Did you see the improvement in hand placement, foot placement that you talked about? Sometimes that's what leads to a holding penalty or something like that.
Yeah, we're continuing to work on that stuff. That stuff is O-line play, though.
Yeah.
We're continuing to focus on the fundamentals. The foot. The foot placement, our hand placement, our footwork more so than anything, and then our eyes and discipline and knowing where we need to be spatially with the adjacent linemen, all of those things that we talk about. But some of that stuff, if you clean it up, then you're in a better position on guys, and now it does not look like holding.
Was that the best your group has played so far this year against Minnesota?
No, honestly, to be honest with you. Grade-wise, no. Not really.
Which game came out?
I forget the game, but that was not the game that we played well. Don't get me wrong, we played well. That was the best and cleanest game that we played. No penalties or anything else like that. No snap errors or there's so many different and little things. Like if a snap is off to the quarterback's right, it's hard for him to make a read.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. That's what we did clean up on Saturday. There was no snap infractions. There was no penalties. Our hands in a lot of places were in better places, and you talk about the line of scrimmage blocking and you talk about the downfield blocking. That stuff is as much leading to the big plays as anything. I call Mike Williams out on the second touchdown. Mike Williams went and MDM blocked and knocked the crap out of the safety right there. Now Devine gets an opportunity to crease through the little gap that's made between Mike's block and the corner, and now the rest is history. He's very much so a result of that play than Matt Forniak, who did an awesome job of driving the guy 5 yards off the ball on a drive block. So it's a full team effort. It's a full offensive effort to get the production that we need. And there was a lot of dots connected on Saturday, and that was the reason why, we had the production. And now, you have confidence through demonstrated ability, and now you're falling back on the plays that were successful, and you coached the why. Why were they successful as you move forward?